I think on my other Insta account I spoke about this, whereas the females or the girls tend to look like the fathers, and the guys look like their moms, right? And oftentimes there's certain key roles we're gonna have to play as like a female concerning or it pertaining to your dad, right? Sometimes they like you'd be hearing quotes like, you just some things you let go, or the sensible things, it is sensible. But if your role is gonna be you're gonna be one of those that you have to tap into, you looking like your dad and actually being the one to approach. Some of us are actually under that supposed curse. You have to be the one who approaches. If you're gonna listen to that advice, that means you're gonna be what for your whole life. And yeah, it has gone to, like, in our day and age, it has gone to the extremes to which we've seen with certain reality shows or series or whatever you call them, that women really do propose. I don't think personally I'd go that far, but if, let's say, I feel like I have a connection with someone, I will like pursue it. That's how far I would go. But going on my knees, I think that's a bit way extra. So sometimes it's all about understanding who you are, what roles you have to play, and understanding the dynamics of your own personal life. Once you get that and understand that, it does not matter who says what. Understand your role and what role you're going to play. Others, it's going to be heartbreak on heartbreak until it eventually it settles. Unfortunately, these are part of the things that we cannot control. They are beyond us. You can argue it, we pray about it, but there's some things that won't break away, I guess. So yeah. Good morning. Interesting Tuesday. So from yesterday's take, people find the need, there's a pattern or the tendency to communicate indirect messages. You don't communicate with food, no matter how desperate you are for whatever situation you're in, no matter how cry out, whatever outcry you have, you don't use food to communicate to someone. And secondly, it's a tendency where someone does what they does, like to get you to capture your attention, whether through direct or intentional offense, but with the aim that someone else has to take the fall. It's not wise. Be careful. Don't do that to yourself. You don't communicate with food. We don't go to food and we communicate like that. So again, I've noted that different people have different outcries, and it's getting to a point whereby it's intense, that such as a result are the effects or the whatever they might have. It may seem selfish of me, but people are really selfish in that they don't consider what another person has been through. They are just so desperate. And whoever that knows me, please don't send. I haven't systematically put up something about me with my life to aid people the way they would want help. Please, if you know me, stop. Like, don't send people my way. Please, I am not in a space where I wanna help as yet in that kind of way. If should I can, I'm in a space where I am gathering myself and healing myself, right? Recuperating from all that I've been through. And that's what people should get. You know what I mean? So, some people also, it's another stunt. Their outcry is crying through a person by taking you through familiar experiences so that you complain because you are so outspoken. And it's not many people who want to be very much outspoken about what they encounter and address it or deal with it the way I would. So they want to cry through you as a person. People, please, like, learn to develop that confidence or that ability or that strategy to fight for yourself or fend for yourself, because you cannot always be expecting someone to do that. Like I'm saying, I'm recuperating. This person does not clearly hear me, so whatever they're experiencing is hectic, so I'm not the person. Measure that kind of trouble you're going through and look for the appropriate, the right key, the right person to help you discern what you're going through and look for the right person. Please enjoy your day. And it's sad that a whole lot of people do, there's some people who don't want to deal with reality. They can't process a difficult period, a different, like, kind of certain change, unexpected. So they go into in denial mode. So anyone who might even mention what's already happening, they almost want to somehow make, like, position as an irrit, whereas they know that it's the truth. There's some people who cannot take the truth for what it is. Reality is that we are living in the times we are living. Things are changing, things have changed. It is what it is. Talking, not talking about it, it will happen. It is happening, or it has happened, still happening. And depending on how people react to it, it will still happen or stop. We don't know. But suck up reality. It is what it is. Simply put, it is what it is. They almost want to make it like, oh, even if they were the ones crying through, now they want to make it like, oh, you are the cause, or you're a result. No, be realistic with the fact that things are different. Things have changed. Things are not the same. Process it, take it as it is gracefully, and see what to do instead of being in denial. Oh my gosh, it's such a person. And by saying, my people, I'm specifying, like, I'm not in good terms with my people. I'm saying black people, my color. Like I said, blacks. There's just something, the way these people, I can see the way we want to belong, the way we are so after certain things. You almost compromise and build on shaky ground whatever you want, because you just have to attain it. You just have to get it, and you don't, like, think ahead. Okay, and literally, I think, let me bring it home now. Let me bring it home. I've realized also these images, never mind the houses, just in the circular environment, these images, people stop it with the images. Like, this is gonna lead way is especially a whole lot of black people stalking on each other. Witchcraft is gonna exist somewhere in between. It's always the case. Let us live our lives. God gives you a day, a brand new day to live. The last thing you want is to be really sitting down observing a person on every detail, because you want the exact image, supposed image, to be doing the exact same thing. Like, I'm over, like, according to me, the worst I've been through. Many have seen it with their own eyes. As unbelievable as it were, as heartless as it were, as very dirty game playing as it were, y'all noticed it. I got even, like, what the bros, what friends now. Little kids, they're stalking. Stop it. It is out of control. You invasive. You are Guru, you are dealing with someone's personal bubble. Like, it's the times are hard as it is. Life is challenging as it is. We don't need such drainage. Live your lives. If you are given the impression that I'm onto you, I don't know you. I'm not onto your life. Live your life. Stop listening to lies. Whoever that girl is in front of the flat next to ours, she's not me. I'm not her. You just want to start these things maloba. We don't have the exact lifestyle and exact thought process. We are not the same person. Stop invading my life. Stop stalking me. Like, this is the worst thing. Like, you really stepped out of the apartment. You just want to breathe. And literally, someone is standing there already reporting that you just made it out of the home. Like, what the heck? I'm no celebrity. What the heck is this? Next minute, you just want to be outside. You want to take in air. It's a problem. You probably watching what car is going where. You reporting things like, I know these people, like I care about them, like I've seen them, like I relate to them, like I talk to them. I just greet. Next minute, you standing by the window. Still, someone notices from either the wherever the angle they're noticing you from. It's a problem. People have problems. What is wrong with y'all? Like, seriously, what is wrong with you? Like, if you are just honest, like, I don't understand what is it that is eating people up. If you are honest with yourself, you will know that you do not talk to me. You don't know me. You just know that girl. You might even say hello and bye bye to you. You just know her from a distance. The problem here is that people are either meeting up with people that I relate to from a distance or someone within close range. They get into agreements that are funny that I don't know nothing about. Like I said, also I would post people online and people would find the need to go meet people in secret. And next minute when it goes downhill, it's almost like I met them through you. And pardon me, did I hold you by the hand to take it to someone? Did I introduce you personally to them? I don't recall doing such. So you understand, people don't want to take responsibility for their actions. People tend to forget that there's consequences to actions and they just want to live life anyhow. But when things go haywire, they want to just start blaming. If you're honest with yourself, you will know that I am spot on with what I'm saying. I am very much spot on. Do yourself a favor, live your life. You're meant to be alive to live, not to be stalking. If I'm crying out or screaming out for help, those are the moments that I would especially expect you to come running to help. But if I have not cried out for any kind of help or anything of that sort, please mind your own life and live. You know what I mean? I'm not that much worth it. Only if I'm screaming for help in the moment, then you can do that. But not now. It's stalking. It's almost like wanting to report who's with her, where she's going. If maybe I should climb into a car that's probably different. Where she's going? It's not. It's none of your business. Like people, let's just live our lives. We are meant to live this life. We live it once. Please, ah, focus on our own. And what's funny is that I never cried out to say I have, I'm troubled. If really anyone can recall that, I've always spoken about a certain area and certain things that are happening. If they cannot stop that, which the obvious of people would know because people are very attentive to what I say. If you can't stop this very thing in this area, in this environment of a yeah situation, then there's no other thing that you can aid me with. You know what I mean? There's no other thing. So don't try diversifying the problem and making it seem like it's impossible to solve and making it seem all over the place. I never cried out for help concerning anything other than what I've said, which the people that it concerns will understand exactly what's the problem. If you can't solve that, there's nothing that you can solve. Just live your life. So basically, in summation of my plea, please sit down, quiet your mind, and recall exactly what triggered your anger. What and who. Be very honest with yourself in that moment. And then direct your anger to the right person, not me. Because I'm getting, sometimes that's the thing, I'm noticing a whole lot of anger and scare and anxiety outlets where people are dealing with the most and they don't know where to revert or to direct that anger or that scare or the fear they feel, and then they become all sorts of different character and things towards a person that's totally undeserving. Recall who exactly made you mad or angry or got you caught up in nonsense, and direct your anger towards the right pupils. Direct your anger towards the person who is deserving. Do yourself that favor, because now people don't understand what to get angry at anymore. People are just making a very complicated situation of life happening a bit difficult, extra difficult for others, and it's unnecessary. Please recall who made you angry and be honest with yourself. Direct that anger towards them, because then you are solving, or you are eliminating, or you are decreasing the anger within you by solving or facing whoever caused you that grief or pain or whatever the case may be. then you'll be fine within yourself. Don't blame someone who has nothing to do with anything you're experiencing, please. And lastly, I would actually be saying this thing. I prefer to speak to people face to face directly. But that's the thing, it's a whole lot of people. There's become a whole lot of people over the years that I don't even know who stays where to approach them. But I have come to notice that they are aware of what I'm saying. Like, I don't know them. I'm here trying to make something of my life after the hectic years I've had, and only to encounter resistance indirectly of people who are just angry, and they're just hearing what they're hearing. They're hearing rumors, they're hearing the words they are that are positioned to be heard to trigger anger towards a person who has nothing to do anything with them. If you can just sit down with yourself and be honest, you don't know me, you've never met me, you've never come to any agreement with me. Isn't that, am I correct or what? Thank you. A quick disclaimer, ne? Because words are very, often with words you're gonna, when you speak, oftentimes you're gonna have to make examples. And I know myself to be a very timely person, and I could indirectly just have a show forth, a display of different examples of scenarios that people might have encountered of recent, or even later on, like earlier on the day, right? So again, I'm pointing out to the fact that if you find that you relate and it's just exactly what I've mentioned, whether you follow me as a result of having clicked follow, or you follow what I say on a regular basis, just know that these words are general. Words are very complex. I don't know what you've been through. I don't know what you're going through. I'm speaking what I'm speaking at a timely moment, for such a time as this, in the moment. It's not about anyone. And this time around, like, I've dealt with a whole lot, which I used to kind of avoid really, but it would irritate me. If people are going to be watching, if you're sensitive, please don't watch my things. If you're too jumpy, if you are too jumpy and always having to think that everything is about you, do not watch what I say, please, because the last thing I want is this lips this seal of lips. I can't stand that. And that just the other day, just to show you how people, and it's usually someone you would know, it's not some stranger trying to be funny looking for attention. It's someone you know, is literally watching you, and they just feeling irritated by what you're saying, but they actually have the option of not even looking nor listening. It's very funny. The lip seal of something of that sort, don't do it, right? I spoke, and I even said it, I'm speaking about the blood moons and what they relate to in accordance to the times. And I related it to, I didn't say, I said generally, I've come to notice, not that I'm saying it, but I've come to notice the problem we have within the food sector, and that could be one of the instruments the enemy could be using to attack, right? That's what I said. Again, this very individual, having been bored, I don't know what the angle is. All I'd like to say is that people should be wise. Do not hide behind a enterprise or whatever that you work at. You are a normal human being at the end of the day, and you have a home, and family, and you don't want to be doing people favors from an enterprise or from a work environment that's going to hamper your life after work. It's not smart. Let's be very smart. We don't, like, I'm not the kind of person to be mean, but, like, it gets to a point where a person could take you off. So just know that in life there's consequences. As much as you don't understand what a person is saying, there's consequences to everything that you do. So be very careful what you do. Do not fool yourself by being placed at a window serving or whatever the case may be, and someone is giving you the confidence that you are such an image. You can get away with such where she pertains or where she's concerned or whatever the case may be. Don't do it. Don't be done, because just by doing that, it could seem like it's working in the way they said. You're already caught up in a bondage that's gonna irritate you your whole life. I can bet you. Many I've seen them going through the same phase, and it's unnecessary. It's drainage. You don't want to do that to yourself. So I ask you, please, that I prefer to respect people. I respect people a lot, but please, like, I'm a human being, I've got limits as well. So please bear in mind that what you do as a person has consequences. I'm not gonna be coming at you and be like, you're wrong, you can just act a fool and make me a fool. I said that one meal could have been everything, or those meals could have been everything. So if things don't go well, also things could just go. That's why it's very important for it makes so much sense. That's why the previous generations, if there's like a systematic way of doing things, once this thing has become part of the family unit and it's a generational thing, you have to teach them that it's of utter importance that you treat someone right, because it means that much. This person could be traveling from afar, they hungry, they want, like, really tired, worn out and whatnot. They just need you to be that place, that wusa of a place or space that makes so much sense. These are the kind of things that build that long time relationship, which in the marketplace, again, we convert it, or we talk about it as like contractual agreements, those kind of soul agreements, that those confident that just bond a bond that just goes for a longest of times, right? So these are the kind of things that formulate this kind of um, privileges over time. So it's only wise that you focus on your strengths as Africans. Focus on what you're good at. If you're in the farmland, work what you work very well, so that you prepare that whenever the stranger or whoever might just come your way, or someone might just hear a hearsay of whatever you do, and that could work for you. That's the aim. So the motivation, what it boils down to is that make sure to work what works. And once you've established something that is good, hold on to it. And remember exactly what brought about that very big opportunity to come your way, or that could still come your way. I'm saying this because others have this already established in their families. Others don't even. It's part of the family. They are taught these kind of things, how things work. It's already established. To others, they might be asking themselves, or they might have been asking themselves all these years, but how can we learn such a thing like that family and get what we now do very well established? Just keep working at what you work very well, what you do very well, because just by a hearsay or just a visit, everything could change just like that. Sometimes you don't need to go be asking people, and just be good at what you do and keep on doing what you do and do it well. There will come a day you will be rewarded. Excuse the timing, but yeah, I got inspired and I relate or narrate whatever I have to say as a result of being inspired or something having made sense, right? So yeah, excuse the timing. It's a different time altogether, because usually I would have done this long ago, like posted like before 12 or 9ish, somewhere the a.m. But anyway, usually we hear people say the so-called cliche saying of you start where you are with what you have and do what you can. And it's like, oh, we hear it over and over again, but like, like I said, different people are saying the same things, and it'll be so year on year, generation after generation, but only few people will make sense to certain individuals. Like no different from a key or set of keys. You've seen usually keys would have like similar keys, or many keys would have the same like ring lobe of a digit number code, but the teeth or the end part of it might seem like they fit a certain door, all doors, but different keys as a result of just that little part fit different or unlock different doors. Same way, some people just have the right pitch of voice, the right tone, or whatever the case may be to unlock you. So we could all be saying the same thing. Others will sing it, and to someone it will make sense. Others they will have to read, and it will make sense. So different expressions of a thought will make different, bring about different realities, or unlock different individuals or human beings altogether on a different level. So I hope when I'm narrating what I'm narrating, uh, something that's usually, it's not anything new under the sun. Some people have spoken about it, and usually, um, I think with time I will incorporate a very structured way of approaching a topic, by means of research, historical patterns and whatnot. The whole, you know, just making a whole body of work around something that is very constructed. It's constructed in such a way that it makes sense altogether. But I'd find that usually, even if I hadn't done research, the way I've come to understand what I'm saying, you would think that I've read something on the history of it, and you'd find that I didn't even have a clue on the history of it. But what I say makes so much sense as if I knew. So what I say is by opinion, my opinion, sense. By opinion, it's so much sense, and it's a fact to some degree. It's a fact. That's how much sense it makes. All right. Okay, back to what I was saying. I was speaking about Africans. And again, before, yeah, before I break it down, the way I've encountered so much, it doesn't matter who's instructing or who's what, there's so much things that are happening in the city, but I really, honestly, right now, I'm not a genuinely good place with people of my skin color. I'm not. They're just, they have to do what they do most of the time. And so, but I've come to realize, growing up, you must think ahead and not just for the moment. You know what I mean? Like, imagine now, take it that I marry either Western or someone of outside my race, and then God forbid our dad that would have to happen, that we have to part ways, and I have to go back to I have to go back to like my people generally. Like if it's close circle, I can work with a close circle. I'm not talking about different relatives and stuff like that. Most of them, like I said, I don't know them. So and I would have to go back to the community of my people. I don't want it to be awkward. You know what I mean? I want to almost feel like I have a reservoir of grace that I've sown there. You've gotta just always fix yourself up or fix your surroundings up so that you'd never know when you need to tap grace from such places, or whatever the case may be, a favor, a help in hand, that need could arise. It happens. Hence why I'm taking the time to sow what I can, where I can, when I can. And I think the time is now. So back to what I was saying. Usually when that dreaded season comes, it depends. Like I said, it varies with different families. It could, in other races, some other people don't like taking a while as well. They like to get things out of the way, and that part is sorted. As much as they hate it, maybe they have a structure to just get it out of the way and just let life continue. But majority of like the inductees, like most of them pay their dues very fast. And now the advantage in this case is that starting with where you are and what you have, like I said, be more on the raw side of things. If that family, if it's in the countryside or in the village or whatever, in the farm, your farmlands and whatnot, that group of family can, to them going to school and all of that, it's a different reality that's far-fetched, honestly. So a different, this is what is actually happening, but other people have just disconnected to understand the process of what they're doing, rather they've done it out of instruction. I have to do such a thing. It's just, sometimes you could do things for years and not actually understand what are you doing and how you doing it. You're just taking instructions, you just obeying. But there comes a time where you understand, but oh, okay, this is why this should be done at such a time in such a way. And then find a different family could focus on, like, your home is like, it's never good to do business from home, but let's focus on the good side. Your home is that starting point, that neutral point. Another could be focusing on the farming the land. Another could be focusing on, just making sure you great cook or whatever, learning how to cook, hospitality wise, improving your hospitality skills, and just creating that warmth. Now if that season is over, okay, you're still going through, some people might be grieving, some it might be a total outcome of things, but they haven't paid their dues. You can welcome people, like that would be the advantage. Hospitality, welcome people into your home and whatnot. These are the kind of moments that build that you save me life or death moment, where someone could be traveling from afar and just landing there and they need that meal and you just save the day and it restores them in every way. That it was like, you know what, you don't understand what you did for me. Like, I traveled everywhere, maybe seeking food, and you just catered everything I wanted without complaint, and everything's just point on. From such favors, of course, result, you don't know, maybe the person leaves and next minute you just have a bond, this kind of bond that the person builds a home with you. That home becomes what you would kind of know as a resort or something like that. This how the bonds of what some of the privileges we are opportune to have are as a result of people having served people they never knew who they were. Because they said you would even entertain angels, not that those people are angels, but meaning you, the principle of the matter is you might entertain someone or welcome someone or be hospitable to someone that might change your life and you might not even be aware or having seen come. So it's always wise to treat what we would know in our day and age as a customer, or what we call customer in the marketplace, but really a visitor. Treating well a stranger that you might just not know where they come from and what they're about. You just don't ask questions. Not, I'm not saying being ignorant, but like, just being hospitable to a stranger, and then next minute you help someone you never knew what kind of person who would do great things. And as a result, that's why right now, when things are just going haywire and things are not making sense, and those very things which were the elements of what brought about partnerships to great things, everything's crumbling down. Because if it was a time for that visit, and for that visit to be more or less of what it was the first time, and now coming back and it's just a dread, it could just break up everything. Because like I said, that one meal could have been everything, or those meals could have been everything. So if the red moon phenomenon sounds familiar, it's usually classified as like the blood moons, and it's in connection to the last days and whatnot. So if you want further information on that, you can look it up. You can read up about it and get to know more about it, right? And usually what that pertains or is in connection with is just about the great fall away. But when I read online, it says no, it can mean what you make it out to be, which I remember I said also it was with A, you can make it, you can just, out of any negative situation, you can always look for the positive type of thing or make something out of it. Yeah, the grateful away. So, I mean, like the other time I was talking about this food situation, if it can go to the food, the last days are more realer than real. It feels like a dream, right? To which also I spoke about alignment. And usually I said something connection. I said the earth is taking self. It's the earth is like becoming aware of stuff, something of that sort. And it's three. And during apparently during when we have this red blood moon, it's been happening for days now. Red blood moons. Usually it happens during a full lunar eclipse, something of that sort, where the sun, moon, and the earth is aligned. So sun, like the heat, the water, and what rock, earth, something of that sort is aligned. Earth, the universe is making babies, or does this present something, a marriage, a new renewal of the universe? And as we've seen, as a result of the pandemic, a whole lot of people have fallen away. To which, unfortunately, it's not even, I'm not saying, I'm just saying what I'm seeing already. It's not going to happen because I'm saying it's already happening. It's really the great fall away in your life. In the Bible, they can classify it as where the grades of something, what the scrolls, when they are rolled, the grades, and the flowing of, I don't know, it's something along those lines. But if the food can be there's already forces on earth, like for such a time, who are going to do that. And like I think I've already nipped it out who it is in the city. They're gonna with like people are food. Dear God, dear God. Basically, in that not so audible vid, what I was just summing it up to is that the great follow-away, as we've seen, people have, as already of the pandemic, they're out. And not because I'm saying anything, it's already happening. So I'm actually speaking about what is already happening. And if you can go to the food sector, the last days are more realer than real. Some of us are gonna just want to think it. No, it can't be happening. It's a dream, but are more realer than real. There are actually forces on this earth right now, like in different cities, in different places that are just not on the merciful side. So if you're really not anchored by something beyond and you're not sensitive, you're not alert, that's it. Like for me now, I don't think it's just any kind of season. This is just, yeah, cut down off, be careful. So should you want clues on what to do around such, because these kind of events that are usually out there, these celestial bodies and what happens out there usually affects, because it's the earth in connection to the outer space. It's actually one thing. So they affect different changes and whatnot. Since while I cannot delve into that myself, I will put up a link down below. You can read through that, and maybe a part of what makes sense to you can help you shape and make reason and make sense of this time. If you're just feeling a whole lot of energies coming at you and you don't know what to make of it, it could just be that guideline to help out. I tried. So yeah, good morning, happy Saturday. Yeah, unfortunately I had to drop that after that vibe, right? Yeah. By the way, Saturday, still on that last name tip, I'm actually rebuking it all. When it comes to light, as I usually say, it's defeated. Like, it's not a problem anymore because it is brought forth in light. I can acknowledge it and take whatever necessary steps into actually solving the whole thing. I'm not even, like I spoke about, like it's how important it is. It is important to have the last name, that the appropriate paternal last name. But I'm not crying over it, because with females don't really usually, they don't stay long in like whatever surname, whether it's the maternal or they don't stay long, they usually change. But it is very, very necessary, because having a wrong last name facilitates, like anyone who joins the family, that family from that angle usually has access. It's easy to monitor your things, get to know everything. Like, yeah, they can end up actually having access to everything, depending on what kind of boundaries you've set. If you're like casual and very friendly, it it gets familiar, it becomes a bondage that's really hard to break away from. And by mentioning the above, usually it's not that the individuals have power over you, you've given it away, right? And I've just this is actually a realization, and it's actually a breakthrough on its own. Like, being it's there's nothing worse like being a victim of association, in this case having a last name that does not characterize who you are, because as an individual you should be prepared for the good and the bad of your true lineage, because you have privileges from that side that your family has worked for, and likewise you have challenges, enemies, and so forth you need to be prepared for. So if you don't know all that, you're not prepared, you almost out of character. Like, imagine if someone, you'd find out that you've got bars, but you've been all behaving like a child, like that child who's just so isolated. I'm not isolated, you're just so meek, but you should be meek and humble, just a sense of, have that sense of respect. But usually the type of people who are associated with what you've come to realize you might be, they usually on a tip, they have a certain kind of authority, confidence, and they're very outspoken in a certain way. They're not just walked over or anything like that, you know because, yeah, you would notice a character of a person usually who does not know themselves at or who they are. They're usually meek, and they usually apologizing, you're sorry, this, that, and they're very nice with things, and it's not your character according to the people who would know you for who you are. You out of character, and then, like, for example, like with myself, I've noticed, like, if let's say I've been saying this, I like someone, I don't like someone, there's always like this tendencies of people just bringing different people, like girls, my relationships way, and it's like, could this be my real family? I doubt it. And if it's not, it's already showing that this individual is just on the thin line of enemy and of opposer towards me, because if they wouldn't allow it, why would they do it? And if it's my own, I wouldn't know for what reasons, because there's patterns to every family. You understand, everything you don't know. Next minute you get images of yourself, all over. I'd rather have my own success, in control of my own success, rather than have people portray my success. Because even if I become successful, I don't. The last thing I need is for people to always be nosy or know anything about my success, because not everyone is for. I mean, even if the girl child looks like being dad, why must someone make sure that they bring every scenario of the dad's child? I mean, there's different children. Everyone should take a portion of part of his life in different ways. It doesn't have to be now always the same thing. Some things you have to get a breakthrough from. They have to improve. They have to acknowledge that you're a girl child, even though you look like the the the, 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 the dad, for example. You know what I mean? And maybe it's a pattern that's repeating itself, like like I said, you wouldn't know. So it's important to know every detail. It's important to know every detail, because now you are able to like maneuver and at least have breakthroughs and just overcome certain things, because they're not really, some things happen for a certain season, certain part in the past, for a reason. They cannot just be repeated. It was for a reason. In our time, is that reason still valid? The images don't only misrepresent you, they they could just cause a whole lot of confusion where you're concerned. It's your brand, it's your image, right? You know that you're not that person. Like, I've come to that, but I've come to acknowledge as well that my dynamics of my life revolves around images, whether I like it or not. I don't believe I'm them. We are totally different people, even if we have slight looks or tendencies programmed, whatever the case may be. But they misrepresent a person, and I'd really, like I said, I'd rather have my success to myself, quiet, less images, more me, I'm still alive to do what I need to do. You know what I mean? So I don't get it. And with the whole girl situation, like if that person knew that you're dealing with people with such power, let's say for example, would they still do the same thing? I doubt it. Because it's also disrespect sending different girls all the time. And because you've not known yourself, you out of character, right? Just take it that I'm dealing with that friendly chick who's not even gonna lift a hand and just even wave a fly away. You know what I mean? So people can really disrespect. That's why it's important to know yourself. So that if you have a whole lot of weaknesses that outweigh the positives, you can work on that on your lineage going forward. If you are really brought up, then you know how to maintain and sustain that. It's very important to have every detail. It's nothing worse like someone who's against you having more knowledge about who you are than who you like you know yourself, or you should know yourself. Nothing worse. That is just danger, because they know too much. They can even go to whoever's supposed to be of you and just complicate the whole thing in your name. It's crazy what people do. Jealousy, if you don't know how jealousy is dangerous, I'm telling you now, it's very. This whole images thing, what I hate, really dislike about it right now is that you'd find that, okay, not you'd find, I am who I am. I have whoever I have in my family, which has been multiplied, right, into images, and people are improvising whatnot. So now people who have caught on for whatever reason, they'll now want to link up these images and be like, so and so would treat her like that. That one would treat her like that. So that means I have to treat them like that. Like I said, I would see different images in different stores now. They want to treat me the same. No, you can't do that. You can't create a whole world. Imagine now I go into your family, do that, spread your whole family around, and want to treat you according to them how they treat you every time. So you have to do with things triple times, 10 times of the same effect. Like what the hell? Where does praying and breaking curses and bondages away comes in when people want to replicate that same behavior? Like what's so good about that? It's like now priding self, yes, someone might have a strategy of whatever sort, but now are you now, like, it's like people, imagine people priding themselves to some degree with your downfalls or what hurts you. Like, okay, they hurt you, like this person hurt you like that, like let's hurt you like that. Like it's better you ignore someone and their problems or whatever you may know from wherever, than now to replicate and want to now double triple on it, 10 times on it. How would you feel if the same thing was done to you? Would you like it? I mean, some things have even seasons. Now people want to now have this constant of a staple, and then now these people are known to be put there to do such. When such comes, when this one does that, that means that one has to do that. No, no, like it's wrong on so many levels. Like, people, let's just get life. Let's live life. Your life is not worth such to have time for such nonsense. Don't do it. So extra. But back to the food matter. um it's not that they would not want to go on the basis of how you're reacting. If you dealing we practically dealing with more or less the kind of same situation, that does not mean that um you can go elsewhere. It's just a matter of they might have concerns of safety. Whether people treat you or have be merciful, like a family setting would. So that, I think, it's the concern. So back to the previous video, it's really crucial to know your representative, to talk and communicate with them constantly on a constant basis. There's no use you haven't seen a person for years, but you are too quick to stop your life and speak about that person like I'm talking close circle. This person, and you're representing someone, but you don't speak to them. It is wrong on so many levels. Also, these kind of things, that's what, like I wrote, form basis of the disconnectedness and source of communication. That how you would now, the whole channeling of how you would receive a message, receive whatever prompts, whatever you need to receive or hear and understand. There's a whole lot of confusion suddenly when such messages have to reach you. But regarding other aspects of receiving favors or what, it's quite clear, right? Like, even if when you want to settle, someone wants to be overly positive over you,
it's a matter of even someone you would know as your biological of parents wouldn't even have a problem, but these people are just so into it and they want to have a word and you don't understand, but how, on the basis of what? If my parents seem fine, there's something. What have you pinpointed a life of a human being to yourself in connection to whatever? What is it? That's why I wrote on the caption that these are the kind of details that separates those who might be off in the streets from those in corporate. It's these little details where someone just knew that you've accrued something very valuable elsewhere. They're not willing to tell you until someday, to your luck, should it be, if it even happens, that this was actually supposed to be your destiny, being like this. You need to get to the nitty-gritty, the bottom line of where the source of some successes come from, or else forge your way, establish your own for the future and coming, mini versions of yourselves. There can only be the other solution sensible. I think I've said it all. I'm so extra. Out of character, and I recalled what I had to say. So negligence. I had to quickly put this on. Because it's life. These things happen. No, there's people who are just being negligent and very complacent and not getting to the root cause of things. And so it goes on and on and on until the one who actually stands up to it or gets the facts right gets things solved, right? So basically that pertains to close circle. These people have much more impact than anyone out of the relation circle. And so I forgot that I was out of character, but I had remembered what I had to add, which I didn't. So negligence, guys. Don't be lazy, don't be complacent. Get to the root, the bottom of it, solve it from the bottom of it, because now you'd have so many voices speaking over your life, to your life, saying a whole lot of things, representing you, but you don't even talk to these people and they're making very critical life decisions where your name is concerned and you have nothing to do with it, and you're probably even clueless because there are that many. People, just be careful lately. If you want to represent someone, get to know them first, get their permission, because that really could alter someone's life altogether, where they end up their destiny altogether. If you don't know, just stay away from it. I mean, immediately when you're good at something, someone would want to talk to a specific someone. Maybe someone is known as the Lord, whether they're out of place or in place. Whoever is called out will be the one, to some degree, having an impact on your life, because people like to answer to certain people or feel like I can talk to someone who governs or is more in charge of things. And those people, we have to know them very well and know what kind of people they are, their true intentions towards us. Because like I said, if you don't see any kind of drastic changes in your own parents' life, you might need to reconsider, right? You might need to reconsider going forward, with all due respect. If you feel that I owe you or we owe you such, maybe let me work towards that, do what I have to do, pay my dues on that side, and just continue with who I continue, because I don't see any way forward here. Your systematic way of doing things is just not feasible for me. So much of this person, you should inquire, you should get to the crux of it, you should inquire, you should be wise. There's something deeper than what meets the eye. And it's spiritual matters that are very deep. That's why the uprooting is not going to be easy. But it'll be worth it if you figure it out eventually. All this to themselves. No, tell them that this has to happen. No, that has to happen for them to actually get this 1, 2, or 3. Whereas you could actually source whatever you get it in the process of having whatever you need to acquire to qualify to get that. You get it, your people, if they are parents, people in the process where your parents are seeing it, it's a blessing, it's unfolding. You meant to bask in it and enjoy the benefits. Not that something bad has to happen. Wabana, it's very shrewd. It's a very shaky kind of a foundation to build on. That's why medley they're very wise. You don't just want to be too quick to be like, I'm successful, I've made it. Some successes, they're ends. Be wise. And then what? Your children, they must be what? Behind and them ahead. then your children take instruction from them. Be very wise. That's when things start changing, and things become funny, and things become undeserving and unfair. But we're not focusing on the unfair. The aim is to make research, do research on your own, get to the crux of the matter. What's happening? Who are my parents submitted to? Do I wanna agree, like going forward with my life with such people? Like, has it served them as my parents, or her as a parent, or him as my other parent? Where do we go with this? It has to be beneficial, but you can only take such steps if you're aware that such things exist to begin with, right? Yeah. So it's in these little things that you can just miss the details that lead you to your destiny in your life. Nothing worse, right? Yeah. So I'm just doing my part in that regard. And I spoke about the whole pyramid thing, being recruited by family members and being unaware. Imagine it's an in-law, right? It's even more broad now. And you'd find that at times you have to, like, you've banked with them, like the people, and you're not aware. And these people, like, they're literally like waiting for you to actually grab a hold of something, but they have to get the message to you. But what if the person they have to get it through is not even willing and prepared to get it through as it should? It's a matter of, you need to get this before you get that. Whereas if you were direct connected to your parents' people, you'd actually be getting things directly and in the process of whatever you should attain. So these are the kind of things we should, kind of details we should really heed, because you don't want to be quick to be going, or be so happy to be a part of a success that you don't understand its stemmings. You don't want that. You don't want that. Even if it's maybe people you are newly like introduced to in your life's journey, you want to understand things. You want to understand that this is out there. It's a jungle. And we know in the jungle or in the safari, there's different kind of characters. You need to be wise. You need to be wise. Don't be quick to rush. Well, that's one thing that's wrong. Don't be quick to rush. Don't be quick to rush for your own good, right? So in that regard, it can get really complex and very complicated, but you need to go to the stem, the rooting of it, understand it, and go about success in the right kind of safe way. Working smart and not hard, lessening the risks, maintaining or sustaining the success. These are part of those things you need to just get right. So yeah, simple English means, I've come to understand the target audience that I've noticed on TikTok. People in the rural, people wherever, people are having so much going on. I mean, they've sat at home as a result of the pandemic. They have so much going on. They've been questioning themselves. They're getting certain ideas, and just hearing something, a piece of my advice could get them to their next step. You know what I mean? So simple English means people understand. It's basic. Anyone can get it and understand that there's no use be using, I need to improve. I need to improve, but it means being able to just convey a message that just anybody can understand. No use being all bombastic about it and then people are clueless. So the aim basically is just to put out a message where anyone can get it. Because we do switch, right? Sometimes you're like, I speak like that, but yeah, we do switch. I'm not trying to prove a point, but the aim is for people to get what I'm saying. The most basic of individuals to get it, because they're all part of the economic, what is a chain process. They all form part of it. So it starts there, actually. It starts there. Because even if we get visitors from wherever and they're exploring, it starts there. So they need to be well prepared, having to get something, put something on the table and be like, I have such skills and whatnot. Taking a different approach to something that has been happening all the while. Basically, that's it. Okay, enjoy your Thursday further. Till next time.